Alright guys, we are back for game number 2 of this semi-final match. This is the TLS Qualifier number 5, and it is G5 versus ZerGbOy, with ZerGbOy currently leading 1-0.
Yeah, it is indeed. You are, of course, as Sale already mentioned, watching Qualifier number 5, and this brings up a point which I was kind of itching to make. I was kind of weirdly expecting the quality to drop throughout the qualifiers as we go on, but I think seeing even a matchup like ZerGbOy versus G5 in the 5th qualifier shows the depth of field that we've got competing for this first actual TLS tournament. So I'm really quite impressed at the number of players that are coming out for this. And continuing the good matches to keep rolling in through week 3 and through qualifiers 5 and 6, and I'm still as excited for this as I was for the first one. So it's really quite a testament to the strength of the community.
And there's a lot of old faces coming back as well, like Project, of course, signed up for this one. I mean, he actually went and played SE2 for a little while here. He used to stream a lot of Broodor. Actually, was a very popular figure in the Broodor community, so that was a pretty keen loss that we felt. But he's back. And he seems to be pretty good, although he didn't. I don't think he got too far today.
He did play though.
He did play. Yep. He did play. I'm not actually sure how far he got. But anyway, yeah, we've seen a lot of players. Also, I know Largo was inactive for a bit. You know, obviously, old school guys like G5, Liquid Drone, Nogrin playing. Old guys who qualified for the TSL2 are back again. So that's all very, very exciting.
Yeah, it's really, really cool.
But more importantly, we have another PBZ, or at least one more PBZ, because, G5, of course, is going to take the series. And it's going to be hard, though. It's going to be hard, because this map is not so good for PBZ. It's quite heavily Zerg favored in the statistics. But that will just make it even cooler when G5 wins.
Yeah, that only makes the victory sweeter. I mean, I don't even see the problem here. We have no problem. This is a one direction.
It's all part of his game plan.
Yeah. And why not? It's going to be good. It's going to be good. And I have faith in G5. I'm still holding out. But ZerGbOy, he just looked a little bit more on the ball last game. G5 was his own undoing right there. ZerGbOy just was able to pretty much walk him with that Hydra Burst, even though G5 scouted. So I've really got my fingers crossed, but I'm a little afraid for G5's game sense if he's letting things like that go.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll see in this game. So let's get started.
Let's do it.
And here we are in game number 2 of TLS 5 Qualifier 5 semifinal. Whoa!
What is that?
That one up. Alright, G5 at the top left as the purple Zerg. Is that an idle drone? Alright, idle drone ZerGbOy at the bottom left.
Yeah. So, his new name, Idle Drone ZerGbOy. What have you got for us today, Mr. ZerGbOy? Is it going to be more cheese? Is it going to be more crazy Hydra Burst stuff? And more importantly, is G5 going to do the right thing against it? Immediately sending out his first probe, so I can only assume we're going to see, although that could be an early... Okay, no, I thought he was sticking on 7 and was going to make an early pylon, which would usually indicate 2-gate, but it's going to be a pylon, and ain't nothing crazy coming out as of yet here. G5 going to do the wall in action.
Indeed he is. Now, walling in on this map is quite tricky. I recently started laddering again, and this was map of the week this week on IC Cup, and god damn, it is hard to wall on this map. I mean, I don't think I've blocked, or actually, okay, I haven't blocked my Nexus with a pylon yet, but I blocked it with one of my cannons on accident. Because I like made 2 emergency cannons when my opponent 9-pulled, and I was like, one of them blocked the Nexus. I was like, ah, damn it. But yeah, it's pretty awkward because it's all diagonal and stuff, and let me tell you, in Broodor, diagonals actually make no sense. It's like one of those things, that picture of that staircase that kind of goes up infinitely because it's some weird perspective thing? See, diagonals in Broodor are like that. It doesn't make sense. Yeah.
I used to love those perspective things. I thought they were great. I mean, I think they're a bit lame now, but when I was little, I used to think they were amazing. I used to be like, well, if you can see it in the picture, then it must be possible, even though it doesn't make sense.
I kept trying to figure out how like you would make those lines in real life to make it real.
But you can't.
Dude, I'm pretty sure you can. We just haven't figured it out yet.
Yeah, we just got to work with the extra dimensions. There are loads available, so you know we've got time and space to work with it. We do have a cannon going down already for G5. He has scouts in the wrong direction, so he might actually have to make up 2 cannons in order to beat Mr. ZerGbOy's early lings off right here. But to be honest, it doesn't look like ZerGbOy's going to commit too heavily to that. Going to probably making 6 lings. Okay, he's just going to start off with 1 egg full of lings, but there's going to be more on the way soon, I'm sure. G5's probably going to scout him out momentarily, but yeah, there we go. Having to throw down 2 cannons, a little bit of an unfortunate incident rather for G5. He may have time to cancel out one of them, but to be honest, I don't think so. So he's going to be committed to that, and he's making an extra pylon as well in his main. So he's going for really non-greedy build right here.
This is why nowadays Protoss players generally use 2 probes to scout after this. So if you don't scout your opponent first, you send out your probe that makes a forge to also go scout, just so that this kind of situation doesn't happen. And it looks like he's actually mining out his opponent's back minerals here. I don't really know what the point of this is. But yeah, so this kind of opening is really non-ideal. He made the second pylon just so that he wouldn't have to stop making probes and wait for the second nexus, but look how late this nexus is going to be. That is such a late nexus. And he's actually going to completely mine this out. I have no idea what the point of this is. By the way, at one point you can actually build a pylon here and squeeze the probe through. It seems that on this, the latest version of this map, you can no longer do it, because I tried to do this on ladder and it didn't work and I was freaked out. I was like, what? I thought you could totally build a pylon there, but it's now unbuildable, so that's very sad.
You can do the you can trick a probe through if you get a second probe up there. So I think this is this is really weird how he's mined those minerals away, because I can't think really who it helps. I guess it kind of helps him if he wants to be pushing loads of units through that gap later on in the game, so he can easily get them up that ramp without having those minerals in the way. But apart from that, I can see no benefit. So maybe we're going to see something in that area as the game goes on, but that's really speculative at this point.
You know, I'm starting to wonder, is G5 just like thinking on a completely different level from us? Because I mean, like last game, you know, we couldn't figure out why he didn't build cannons and didn't pull probes. But maybe his like strategic mindset is just so far beyond us that we can't possibly comprehend. You know what I'm saying? He's just like, you know, 3 generations in the future. He's like, it's like how like Root Cats, you know, he does all these crazy strategies and nobody understands him. But you know, in one of his interviews, he's just like, guys, what I'm doing is standard. It's just the standard that's like 5 years from now, or something like that. I don't think that's his exact words, but that's basically what he said. Rukat's one of my favorite players, by the way. Just saying. Yeah,
maybe G5 is pulling out the super metagame stuff and actually seeing into the future. But if he is, then this is a pretty crazy future whereby you can lose to a 3-hatch Hydra that you've scouted already. So future would look a bit bleak in that situation, but yeah, maybe G5 is going to pull out something fascinating for us in this game. He does get a hidden probe into the main base of ZerGbOy, so he does get a full scout. He sees the lair timing at the natural expansion, he sees what gas there is, and he sees the mineral only third as well. So once again, he has a full scout. No excuses right here, G5.
Yeah, and looks like he's just checking his back side disruptors as well, make sure nothing sneaky is going on. And ooh, looks like we have a Citadel, no Stargate, so going to be going for some early speed lot shenanigans, or possibly even some kind of, I don't know, crazy Archon push. I mean, that was fairly popular a couple of years ago, but kind of fallen out of favor nowadays because I think Zergs know how to deal with it. But you never know with G5 because he is an old school player. It's
a nice push as well. I mean, it's I think that could well be what we're seeing right now, and it is a good push because those Archons are so strong, and it means that you can't just kind of be massed by Lings in order to defeat the Speed Zealots. I mean, those Archons just cut straight through. So it's a good push, even if Zerg doesn't know how to play against it. It's still a good push just for gaining map control, and you can easily substitute one of those Archons for 2 High Templar, get Storm a little bit later, and you're going to have some high energy High Templar right there ready and waiting.
That is a very good point. And well, I guess we'll see if he does it here. It would be quite a nice little nostalgic thing to see once again. I mean, did Noni use it against Mondragon in TSL2 finals?
I'm not sure. I was so kind of clueless back in those days.
So was I actually. So
honestly,
was I.
Yeah, couldn't make heads or tails of it.
I don't know. Maybe he did. Maybe he didn't. Either way, I'm just gonna keep name dropping because that's awesome. Anyway. Yeah, Speedlings poking around here at the front. They're just going to give the Zerg a little advance warning when the Protoss moves out. Looks like there is, in fact, an Archives and 3 more gateways. Oh my god, is this actually the 4-gate 2 Archon push?
Wow,
this could actually be it. That's amazing.
Yeah, this is super exciting. I actually remember the first time I saw this build used in Pro League. I literally remember the arrival of this build, and now seeing it again kind of come full circle is really, really cool. And I want it to work because it's a build with a history, you know, and it's actually a pretty cool build. Throwing down another gateway as well. That's not usually in the another 2 gateways as well. So he's going to go really, really heavy on this. He's just going to try and go for a massive army, and he better hope that he's not facing down against Museless here, which it looks like he isn't.
Yeah, everything from Zerg fairly standard. Actually, a fairly fast 4th base
Fast
here at the 6 o'clock.
yeah.
But it is just a 3rd gas base, of course, because this one is a mineral only. But either way, very interesting. Also, he's kind of taking the close base rather than trying, you know, sneak another natural or something. I guess that makes more sense given that he's kind of being a bit greedy there. Just keep it closer to his main base so he can reinforce more easily. Meanwhile, just getting evolution chambers, still continuing to drone up, completely oblivious to what's going on inside G5's main. Now we do see the first Archon morphing here. There is no storm being researched in the archives. There is a robotics though. I guess he's slightly concerned about observers.
Yeah,
you know, if he was a real man, he'd go for the Dark Archon like Quark. Boom! More name dropping.
Yeah, more name dropping. You're just all about the knowing people today, aren't you, Mr. Sale? But I think the early robo is quite good because often you can see Protoss really get thwarted in terms of robo timing and just find themselves caught short in the mid game. Okay, now finally the Scourge get into the Protoss main and see it, but the 2 Archons and the handful of speeds that's already on the way, and look how quickly they get through these Lings. If the Lings even stay around for any of it, they do not. They know that they are outgunned. They run away immediately. I think that early 4th base could be telling because the timings against this push are so very tight. They're so kind of precise that if you lose just kind of 20 seconds or so, then you can be in real serious danger. And I think that this 4th base might just about be the difference right here.
Yep, and of course all these Zealots and Archons do have the +1 attack as well, making them even stronger. The Hydralisks have speed but no range upgrade, so they're not going to be as effective. And it looks like he's actually going to use the 2 Archons to break down the back here. Very, very smart move here, so kind of adapting an old school build into something new here on a map that allows it. He can use the splash damage of the Archons to break down these stacked side disruptors. The problem is that's actually quite a few Hydras here. I think Zerg might just be waiting for range to finish before he engages, but there the Zealots go. They're going to see all those forces here. They got to be careful here and pull back a little bit. The Archons are almost done breaking them down, but not quite enough. He's going to be careful. The Hydras can focus down the Archons very, very easily. They don't have the same speed as the Zealots, so they are trailing behind a little bit, but is able to escape barely there. Meanwhile, Scourge still randomly flying around in his base, checking things out here. Now, is he going to pull back? Yes, he is going to get stormed now, so looks like he's decided this attack isn't quite going to work. He's going to fall back a little bit. Unfortunately for him, he didn't know that the 6 o'clock base was there, because I'm pretty sure he could have sniped it if he,
absolutely.
If he knew it.
Yeah, just with a handful of Zealots. But he was unable to do that. Didn't scout it out, but never mind. The thing that worries me right now is this was clearly quite a specific game plan for G5, and it hasn't quite panned out just yet, so hopefully he's got a kind of backup for how he's going to play this. I think his army is still going to be superior. He's got a lot of speed Zealots right there. He doesn't have the cannons, though, so he does run the risk of getting funneled into a bit of a nasty situation in his natural. He needs to be further out onto the map, because I think he does have the unit count to do this. He also doesn't want to lose his Forge when it's halfway through his Weapons 2 upgrade, so that's yet again another important upgrade.
Oh man, he should have hid the Zealots on the side or something and come around the back and done like a sick flank attack, but as it is, he's going to be running into a choke point here, running into a funnel. He's going to lose his +2 upgrade in that Forge. He's waiting to engage. When is he going? Is he waiting for Storm or something? Where's Storm? Storm is not quite done yet. He doesn't have Storm. He needs to just engage. He just needs to engage right now. The Nexus is being attacked. The Templars are being focused down right now. He just has to go. He's got to keep the Templars in the back. Let them recharge energy. Wait for Storm. I think he has enough though. He has enough. The Zealots are moving out. The +1 Zealots are just mauling those Hydralisks. Wow.
Yeah, and just look at how strong that army is. That was a landslide victory when he actually got around to getting into the engagement. If he'd have got that engagement early, if he'd have been holding a slightly higher position on the map, then he would have had his +2 weapons coming in any second now, and he would be looking really, really good. I wish he were doing a little bit of running around with just a clump of speed Zealots as well. 4 speed Zealots, that's really all it takes to get that 6 o'clock base down. ZerGbOy does not have the forces to spread in this particular situation. Meanwhile, though, ZerGbOy is looking quite thin in terms of his army count, and just as lurkers are coming in, we're going to pretty soon see observers happening in the army for G5.
Oh, there is one already.
First observer is already in the army, so I think these lurkers aren't going to be doing the trick, and ZerGbOy needs to really fall into a better defensive position than this. He needs to be working with his SimCity. I think he's going to be assuming there are no observers as of yet, but this is, of course, going to be misguided. He could lose so many units.
Stop! Oh my god! Huge storms on all the clumped units. There's 2 lurkers left. There's a probe in the army. The probe goes down. There's so many units left. There's 1 lurker in the back. The Zealots are running in. It's a good SimCity, but there's only 4 Hydras left. There's so many Zealots remaining. The rest of the Templar are morphed into Archons here. ZerGbOy is in a lot of trouble. Can G5 break through? He can't get through the drones, though. The Sunken is targeting down this Archon because he can't get through the drones. Oh, man, the Zealots are freaking out. He's targeting down some drones. More Archons coming into the frame. Meanwhile, G5 has got his spinner only up and running, so he's definitely got an economy behind this, even if it doesn't work. But I think it might just work. It's going to be close. More hydras are flooding out, but the natural's gone. GG!
Great stuff right there from G5. Really making that push happen. The observer timing was smart. The mineral mining out was actually a smart move, it turned out, even though it didn't work out exactly in the end. It might have worked out very nicely, and that was more the kind of stuff we need to be seeing.
Indeed it was. It was actually quite funny, because he did break down the back door, and is like, nah, I'll just attack the natural, whatever. Screw it. Kill him. Kill the natural. And, yeah, it worked out. Man, I'm surprised how well it worked out. After, you know, the first attack just went back and didn't do much, I was like, oh, man, that's not good. He might be in a bit of trouble now, but
yeah,
I should have had faith. It was G5. It's my bad.
He could really have been in trouble. So, yeah, this is going to take us to 1-1, and yeah, so do your thing. Get ready for the next game. I want to move on with this. I want to see more stuff right here.
All right, we will be right back.